Hello, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program for episode 2. I'm Commie Fritz the Great, and I think after last episode's success, if you'll remember, we sent Comrade Jebediah into orbit. I think last episode was more sort of introductory episode to the game, which I sincerely hope you enjoyed. Anyway, I think, as I was saying before, it's only appropriate now to establish a new goal, a new frontier for Kerbal kind to achieve. So I think it's only appropriate to shoot for the moon. So if we just bring up our save that we loaded up last time and dive straight in. And we're free to load, and here we are at the spaceport once again. I'm just going to enter the VAB and bring up the rocket that I built. If I can find it in the list of my many items that I have. Most of them are stock craft, but anyway. And here it is, comrades. I call it Stanislav, and it's the Mark 1 model. I've tested this one or two times before, and the launches I've done seem to go okay. I only test ran it just to make sure the staging was all set up. And the staging, by the way, is all of this orange stuff down the right hand side, so you can tell the computer which engines fire at time. But now all that remains to do is to go ahead and launch. And here we are once more at the launch pad, with comrades Bill, Jebediah and Bob Kerman. Jebediah, of course, achieved his fame for becoming the first kerbonauts in history to orbit this planet. And now, as they wait the coming dawn, we shall be here in but a moment, as you will see. They prepare for liftoff in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff, and the Stanislav Mark 1 has cleared the non-existent tower. And we already seem to run into a problem. I'm actually already firing the central engine above the stack, so what I have to do, oh god, I'm going to have to go and revert this flight. I've completely royally stitched this up already. I'm sorry chaps, I'll just have to quickly revert to the launch again. So it seems my test flights were completely fruitless and I didn't set up the staging properly after all. This engine was supposed to ignite here, and that engine should go down there. I guess I should probably alert KSC security to terminate any journalist who tries to get wind of this to the papers, because the government will surely cancel our funding after that. Nonetheless, we shall continue. And for real this time, we will launch. And we shall show the world what a great nation this is. So for the second time, take 2. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off. And we're going up well. 115 meters per second. I should probably throttle down. Now, 2 sets of those 6 outer tanks are going to be jettisoned. Booster separation, all systems nominal. We're doing 165 meters per second and we're just passing the 4 kilometer mark, and all is going absolutely swimmingly. By the moment we have Bill, Jebediah and Bob back again, and they seem very happy. I can probably throttle down a bit because we are going quite quickly through the atmosphere. We're already doing 234 meters per second as we await the second booster separation, and off they go without a hitch, in fact. And I think now comes the time to start slowly doing our gravity turn to bring up our horizontal or lateral velocity as we fire ourselves into our orbit. And we can probably throttle down a lot more because we are accelerating quite quickly through the thinner section of the atmosphere. And blimey, we're doing 435 meters per second. And the torque from those 2 outer motors starting to spin the rocket, I don't think that's going to affect our stability too much, but it's best just to take things easy and back off the throttle while you can. If I can get, I'm going to go in and check the map view to see what we're... And 44 kilometers and those 2 tanks are go for separation, so we accelerate away once more. I just put the throttle up to the max to make up for the deficit that we lost during staging. So I'm going to come and bring up the nav ball on the map screen, and you can see, in fact, that our apoapsis, that's the highest point in the arc, is at 57 kilometers, which means we are almost in space. Kerbin's atmosphere officially starts at around 69 to 70 kilometers, but once we get to the thickest bit, we're perfectly fine after that. And we've wasted far too much fuel through there. General rule of thumb, really. If you're doing at least 1 kilometer per second, you really want to be horizontal. But if your arc is already above the atmosphere, then you should be horizontal anyway, and you really should once again be doing at least 1 kilometer per second as you come out of the atmosphere. As we are about to achieve now, actually we're going to lag slightly behind our target. And there we are, we're going to space. It's as easy as that, ladies and gentlemen. We're now going to pitch right over onto the artificial horizon line, and then accelerate right up to orbital velocity. And I should probably sort out the staging at this point. At 77 kilometers. Slightly higher than I would have wanted, but That's no big issue. And everything is going well. That stage has run out. Time to decouple. Now what I've done is I've forgotten to include fuel pumps, so I'm just going to have to pump the fuel in individually. And whoa, I've lost a bit of control. And I honestly don't know what happened there, but it seemed to have lurched out of control. That might be a problem with the weight distribution when I transferred that tank of fuel over. It's not really a good idea to do that while your engines are burning, but oh well, it could have been a lot worse. And it's happening again. I'm going to have to wrestle with this to keep it on the straight and narrow, but at the moment all is good. One of our gimbals might have gone or something, but I'm not quite sure what the problem is. Still, it could be worse. We could be in a massive ball of fire hurtling straight towards the ground at orbital velocity. And we are in orbit. And that, gentlemen, is how we do that. Now, what I should probably attempt to do is crossfeed. Is go around and check which tanks I have fuel in and which ones I don't. I'm going to try and get rid of the ones from the opposite tank though, in order to even things out a bit. Hopefully that shouldn't pose too much of a problem. Now, what we want to do in order to intersect with the moon is arrive at the same point at where the moon is on its orbit, and the only way to do that is by starting our burn at a particular point so that we get ourselves slingshot out of Kerbal orbit and straight at the moon. Now it turns out that if we set the moon as our target and time warp around Kerbal, the point at which the moon rises over the horizon is also the perfect time to begin our translunar injection burn. So we shall do exactly that. And there's no need to set up any maneuver nose or anything. Maneuver nose, by the way, is something I'll demonstrate to you once we get into lunar orbit. I'll be demonstrating all that soon enough, so there's no need to worry about something that I've missed. And we are entering the dark side, the far side of Kerbin. And it's a 16-minute flight. You can see, I think you can see the timer ticking away in the top left, as always. And yes, it's now time to check up on systems. Everything seems to be ship-shape and in good order. I think it's a good time to check our electric charge. You can see we're full on electric charge. I've got a radioisotope thermoelectric generator here, which is working well. And I believe I have a solar panel, which I don't really need at the moment, even though it is quite dark. The RTG, the radioisotope device, will keep me going for a while before then. Now as we walk around, we just wait for the moon to rise over the horizon. And no, that's not it. That's just a bit of the atmosphere. There is the sun. Isn't that a cool shot? I'm not quite sure exactly when the moon will rise. I can't really see any indicators, but if we track, I don't know if you can see the pink marker on my nav ball in the bottom middle to the left of the 3 kerbonauts, but I'm guessing that once that sort of clears the horizon line, the moon will obviously have risen. So I guess it's time to find out whether I was right or not. I'm pointing straight at my target reticle and it's a bit off. And it looks like our quick weight distribution adjustment was pretty much spot on. You can see a bit of wobbling as we accelerate away, but that's perfectly fine. Now the burn will last 1 or 2 minutes, so we might be able to achieve this on just this tank. I'm not quite sure, but I guess we'll find out. And I should probably align myself a little more pro-grade than I am at the moment. Yeah, we really need to fix this weight distribution. It is hindering us in the slightest. Hopefully it won't become too much of a problem when we come into land, because I think, if my calculations are correct, we might still. And as you can see, our orbit got a lot bigger. The moon's out at an altitude of 11 million meters, which is 11,000 kilometers. And we can probably start throttling down now because our orbit is expanding quite quickly. We don't want to overcook this, because this is an important transfer burn, so we can throttle right down and just wait for those 2 white markers. You can see they're getting closer and closer for my lunar encounter, and we've missed. Oh no, we're perfectly fine. And there we are. If I just quick save here by the F5 button, you can see that we are now on trajectory to the moon. So if we just time warp to our encounter, which is when the moon arrives at exactly the same place at exactly the same time as us, and then its gravity will sort of bend our orbit around and pull us right in. and I'm not quite sure what it will look like. The simulation that's predicted for us, as you can see, it doesn't look too accurate, but our orbit isn't going to be very coplanar with what I would have liked. It won't quite be an equatorial orbit like the one we do over Kerbin. And we're getting pulled up here. I'm sort of flying by the seat of my pants, I'm not quite sure. And oh god, yeah, I've completely stitched up. We don't have a periapsis at all, so... Oh my god, at the moment, we are going to collide straight with the moon, straight into the moon. So... yeah, that's not good. If I burn at the moon, maybe I can get enough velocity to sort of skip by it. And we're starting to drip. No, I don't want to. Oh, it's a national disaster, chaps. We are currently spinning out of control and hurtling straight towards the moon. It's not quite what I wanted. I don't know what's with all the purple lines, so don't ask me in the comments, but okay, our orbit seems to be straightening out, but whether it's going to clear the side of the moon, I don't really know. I'm struggling to keep this spacecraft under control. It wants to snap out to the right. And you never know, we might make this. And no, I don't want to throttle up too much, because that's going to pull all of our fuel to one side, and hopefully we can even things out by... I really should have attached those cross-feed pumps. And no, that's made things worse. And well, we almost have a periapsis, but we've wasted quite a significant amount of fuel oxidizer getting here. So I don't know about the return journey, but I guess it's a do or die thing. And we're slipping out of control again. That's really not good. Right. This mission hasn't really gone as perfectly as I'd hoped. It's from one mishap to another, really. Firstly, we couldn't balance our fuel tanks, and now we haven't quite done our encounter properly, so yeah, that's not good, but hey, things will always turn out good in the end. Unfortunately, now that we've boosted our periapsis up, we're going so fast, we're going to need a whole load of delta V to slow down and get to a lunar orbit. So I think now is the time, while we have a few minutes, to move all of the fuel from these external tanks into the interior central tank. And no wonder it was spinning out of control. There's loads of fuel in here. That must have just been dead weight. And oh, I haven't quite transferred all of it. Yeah. There we are. That's a very cool shot. I mean, you can see the moon and Kerbin and the sun in the middle. I might take a screenshot of that. And Stanislav, however, is performing very well. I think the only errors, were on my part, because I didn't do things properly when I built it, and we've completely messed up periapsis. Oh my god, I don't know if we're going to be able to slow down in time. Nonetheless, we shall just burn and hope for the best. This skipper engine is a reasonably efficient mid-stage booster with quite a lot of delta V in it, so yes, and it's working. I knew it would. This skipper engine is brilliant. And round it comes. This is looking to be quite a good orbit if it wasn't for the fact that it was slightly off kilter. And yes, I'd say that's a good orbit. We should probably throttle down quite a lot in order to just let things settle down. And that, comrades, is how we do that. And as the sun rises over the lunar surface, I think it's now time to conclude this episode. So please do join me next time where we attempt to land on the moon. But until then, I will see you next time.